After 2 years of living in Germany, we finally made it here to the capital, Berlin.
Oh, alright. Pretty cool. Bam.
Now it's the golden Elsa.
Yes.
Drastic differences between East and West Germany. I never thought that I would have the experience to talk with someone who lived right next to the wall.
In today's video, we've met up with some local Berliners and they're going to be showing us around this amazing city. Let's go. I think she's liking this travel thing. Do you think she likes trains?
Yeah, she does.
While we're here in Berlin, we're definitely taking lots of public transportation. We decided to buy the Deutschland ticket, which gives us unlimited access for most of Germany for the entire month, so we're taking full advantage of that today while we're here. When visiting Berlin, definitely check out the different day passes that you have for transportation, because there's different zones, different day passes. We opted for the Deutschland ticket because it made sense for us and we're going to be able to use it in other places. And arguably, public transportation is the best way to get around to see Berlin. We're hopping on the U-Bahn right now to head to the Reichstag building to meet up with some locals who want to show us around the city. This is a really nice metro station, honestly. The last one, the Brandenburg Gate, and this one, probably some of the cleanest metro places that I've ever seen, and we've been to quite a few of them. But a few of the other stops were not this clean, so I'm sure that because these are some of the hottest tourist spots, that's why they're so clean.
Does it echo? Babe, look behind you.
Oh, alright. Pretty cool. Bam. I did not expect the view to be like this very calm looking park area. And then yeah, you turn around and the Reichstag building is right behind us.
We've been living here in Germany for quite some time, that we feel like we've got a fairly good idea of what Germany is like. Truly everywhere we visit in Germany gives us a new impression of what Germany is. And we have no doubt that Berlin is just going to add to that. We're looking forward to jumping in, learning as much as we can, and just taking in this atmosphere. Okay, already this is like touristy central. I saw a tourist sightseeing bus here, like the hop on, hop off. Behind me is a big group tour, which I can see multiple already. So we know right now we're starting off in a very touristy area. It's going to be fun to get a mixture of the top touristy historical sites mixed with some of the local hidden gems.
Reichstag is a historic government building on the Platz der Republik in Berlin. It has been the seat of the German Bundestag since 1999.
Is it going to be a fun day?
The computer systems crashed at the registration office to get into the Reichstag, so we've been waiting for roughly 45 minutes here in this line, probably more. We were just talking about leaving not 10 seconds ago, and then all of a sudden the computer system, at least it appears that it's working. So thankfully we didn't leave because we would have been like 30 seconds away and lost our spot. So we're signing up for an appointment tomorrow because the earliest appointments today are like at 7, 8, and 9 o'clock tonight, a little later than we want to be out. So we're gonna book some things for tomorrow.
But let's be honest, all of this could have been avoided if we would have reserved ahead of time. So don't be like us, just book ahead online. You'll still have to go through the security line and come at your chosen time spot, but you don't have to wait in this line if you reserve online. Do you see horses? It's really big.
So we're standing here at Brandenburg Gate and we're getting a lot of information from our new friends here in Berlin. What I didn't realize is that this area used to be like a parade route for the emperor or the ruler throughout history here in Berlin, and they would go down this like parade route all the way down from where we are here, and then several kilometers, I would assume, down this way towards the west side. So right now we're standing on the side that used to be West Berlin, and then just over there a few meters used to be the east side. Of course we're going to be visiting the remnants of the Berlin Wall at some point during this trip, but this is our first experience of walking over between the two sides of the city. It's a really nice and beautiful area and day here today.
So right here by the gate is actually the Hotel Adlon, and this is a super popular hotel. It is where all of the important people will come and stay when they come to Berlin. In fact, that hotel got bombed out basically during World War II, and they've now since restored it, and it's a very, very popular place.
One thing we've noticed with 2 little girls now is that it takes more energy to travel than it was just with 1. Nonetheless, we're still feeling up to this point pretty well rested and with lots of energy, excited to see Berlin. Thanks to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. One reason we've been feeling more energized is because we've been drinking AG1.
AG1 is a daily nutritional drink that supports whole body health. As a registered dietitian and Tanner as a public health professional, nutritional, it's safe to say that health is at the core of most of the intentions we set. AG1 fits in seamlessly and helps us start our day off on the right path.
We've been drinking AG1 for a month now, and honestly I can say I feel a sustained boost of energy throughout my days, especially when we're traveling.
And I love AG1 because I feel like I've been able to see an improvement in my recovery after workouts, which is huge because I'm postpartum and I knew that going back into working out, getting back into my regular exercise regimen was gonna take some time, and I expected I would be more sore than I actually have been. And I feel like some of that's contributed because of the magnesium in the AG1. There are so many benefits of taking AG1. It supports the immune system, promotes healthy aging, and it increases our intake of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. We honestly love knowing that we're getting these necessary vitamins in, especially when we're traveling, because honestly, we eat out a lot and it's just hard to get them all in. Speaking of travel, they have these travel packets, which are awesome. They make it super easy to stay committed to your intentions wherever you are and whenever you need it.
It's super easy to drink AG1. You just need your bag, your scoop,
Voila!
and your shaker bottle.
Give it a good shake.
The taste is quite mild, a little citrus-like to us, a great nutritional drink. AG1 is going to give our community a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 of these travel packs with your first purchase. We've made it just a few minutes around the corner from Brandenburg Gate to this Jewish memorial for those lives that were lost during World War II. And this is a pretty unique memorial. They have these unique blocks that are designed in this pattern, and then actually it goes like up and down little hills throughout the entire columns. And some of them are very high, some are lower, and you get to see and just like feel kind of like the immensity of these towers, big blocks that you're walking into. So a very unique experience to come here and see these just around the corner from Brandenburg. So something definitely want to come and see.
We're gonna go on a bus first.
Bus.
And then
A
a train.
And then a train. There's a bell. I saw a bell.
You saw a bear?
Wow. Was that the Berlin bear?
Of the.
Guess who lives here? The president.
Oh, golden Elsa.
Yeah, the goddess of victory, Victoria. We're victorious over the French.
So now it's the golden Elsa.
Yes.
I like it.
Oh, and you can go on the bottom.
You can actually go up.
So we've been having an absolute blast here, learning a lot about Berlin. We walked through the Tiergarten, learned all about the history there. The locals here were like, hop on the S-Bahn and just take it around in a circle, and you can see most of the main attractions here. So there's a tip for you. Now we're off at Alexanderplatz, and we're going to be exploring this area around.
Wow.
Out of all of the things here, Willa saw the bear at the restaurant, the little white bear. But behind us you can see the TV tower. It's very tall. You can go up there, get incredible views of the city, I'm sure. Honestly, for us it's a bit pricey, and we have heard you can instead go to the radio tower and get amazing views, but also you can see amazing views from the Bundestag. So that's going to be our viewpoint, but just so you know, you can go up, and it is in a really cool central location. Another big impression here is that there are so many places to shop at and eat at here in Berlin. It's a little overwhelming for us coming from a small town. I mean, we love it. We love the options, but they seem endless. It's pretty cool for us to see, and we can't wait to dive into the food scene.
I think actually for once the GDR did something good here. First of all, they did restore buildings, and they used this prefab Soviet-style building, but they made it into this, and also other sympathetic, smaller structures within.
Okay.
So we have GDR, East German, Soviet-style prefab next to a medieval building, and it works.
At a lot of the crosswalks, there's like the little green men with a hat on, and from what our friends were telling us, these used to be more on the east side of the old city of Germany, and then for most of the city lights that we've seen today, they actually still have the little hat on them.
Here we are in the Nikolai district, and behind me is the oldest restaurant here in Berlin. And right across the street from that restaurant is the St. Nikolai Church, which is the oldest church building here in Berlin. So there's a lot of history here. We've worn her out.
At this point of the day, the sun is shining very brightly right now, as you can tell, but we've made it to the Humboldt Forum. Over on the right-hand side, we're seeing the Altes Museum, and then next to it, the Berliner Dom. Beautiful buildings around here. Honestly, it's a very busy place. We've been to quite a few big European cities, but Berlin is definitely unique in the fact that we were able to walk from like quarter to quarter and to see some drastic differences between East and West Germany. It's just really fun being able to see it and experience Berlin with locals.
Little Noah has fallen asleep on me, which I absolutely love. It's my favorite way to travel, with the weight of a little baby on me. We have made it here to the East Side Gallery, and this is where the original Berlin Wall is. It's honestly quite surreal to be here. We've been walking on here for quite some time, and I've got to say it already feels quite long. I can't imagine walking this when it was still intact and surrounding all of West Berlin.
Oh, that is actually something really interesting. It's also in Neukölln, it's a bit further south. It's called the Horseshoe Settlement District. This was a new kind of idea, living not cramped, lots of light, a little bit of garden or a little bit of greenery just outside your door.
Wow.
Let's see. Yeah, and this is like the Bohemian community on the way to church, and these are just the barns. They're still wearing their check clothing.
Well, I barely sat down on the couch, and it feels amazing to get off of my feet, honestly. We had an amazing time just getting back with our friends exploring Berlin, but man, my feet are really feeling it, and I didn't realize it until just sitting down now. Just to recap a little bit, because it did get a little crazy with the crowds, the wind, but also just wanting to enjoy the moment and not having to film and say everything while we were there. But here are just a few first impressions from visiting the East Side Gallery, and honestly, it was a lot bigger of sections of the wall that I thought were still up. I imagined that it would only be, maybe a block or so, but it was quite a good amount of the wall that was still left up. Like Rissa says, it is kind of surreal to have the feeling of being at the wall, when honestly it's not that long ago from when the wall actually stood and was patrolled, and there was the division between the city. One thing that was a little surreal to me was then talking to our friend. She told us of how the wall, the closest portion of the wall from her home where she grew up in, was only 20 to 50 meters away from their house, and there was like a little pathway that they could kind of walk in between. And that's just kind of a weird thought, because I never thought that I would have the experience to talk with someone who lived right next to the wall while it was still split between East and Western Germany. The famous picture of the two men kissing on the wall, I honestly thought that painting was more like political driven, to say like, one leader was kissing up to another leader, but apparently that actually happened. A greeting between the leaders, in this case two men, where they would kiss on the lips. This actually was a common practice. One other thing that I wanted to mention about the East Side is that when it came to buying cars, some people had to wait 5, 10, 15 or more years to get a car. Like if they had the money to buy it, they would be able to order it, but it would still take forever to get a vehicle, which definitely seems like a crazy amount of time to try and wait for a vehicle, assuming that you probably didn't have one in the first place. And we actually saw a car that was a limousine, which was supposed to represent like the smaller vehicle size that was in East Germany. It's not like these cars were really that big and nothing that fancy, so we were told that it drew a lot of attention if someone from Western Germany drove their vehicle across the border. They had permission to or whatever. They said that they would get a lot of looks because it was abnormal to see a vehicle from Western Germany on the other side. Thanks again to our friends for sharing the time and experience that they did today, because it means a lot. I can already tell that the memories are going to be more impactful having visited with them rather than just doing it on our own. After finishing up at the East Side Gallery, we made our way down the road, made it to Holzmarkt, which is a pretty hipster place, kind of gives like a vibe of like Portland, Oregon, but had lots of music and fun ethnic foods. We ended up trying a little African dish, which had a little rice dish, and then we also tried some plantains with peanut sauce, and I honestly forgot how much I love fried plantains, so it was fun, a good flashback for my time living in Belize. But we were able to just enjoy the rest of the evening and then slowly made our way back here to the apartment that we're staying at. Now we're going to enjoy relaxing for the rest of the evening before we hit up day 2 here in Berlin. You see the big tall circle? We're going to walk up there. Well, besides being insanely bright right now, we're on top of the Reichstag and we're about to see an incredible view of the city of Berlin, and it's looking already really beautiful. I'm actually really impressed with how many trees we can see already. Just to recap, yesterday we had to wait in line about an hour before we could register for a visit today, which it wouldn't have taken that long, but the computer systems were down for some time.
While waiting in line, we asked our local friends, is this really worth the time? And they said, honestly, yes. So we've already talked about how big Berlin is. That's very evident, right?
Mommy has this.
Yeah, I've got a cool audio guide. But I think one thing that sets Berlin apart is that it has a vast amount of green space here within the city. Even walking with our friends yesterday, they would comment multiple times and say like, isn't it so cool that you can be in such a big city, a bustling, hustling city, but you can also sit down in this beautiful green garden area or within the Tiergarten, which is huge also. We were really surprised about that. Or, you know, sit at like a nice shaded terrace with just a beautiful landscape around you. So we just walked on, audio's going automatically.
Say password.
2.
2, yeah.
Thank you.
That's impressive. Because he has to be like 5 feet above the ground, and he was just like cruising.
What is it?
We noticed there were some weirdly placed bricks like in the middle of the road, and then it flashed back to us that these are probably the old bricks that marked where the Berlin Wall used to be. So it's kind of cool, and it takes like some weird odd angles honestly here, like in the middle of the road now. I'm sure it made more sense back then, but kind of interesting thing to see.
I don't know why we didn't do that.
Well, you could.
We have 2 kids, but that's a fun way to see the city. We have now made our way to the west side of Berlin. Basically, it's the other side of the Tiergarten, and there's the zoo and the aquarium here. To get here, we took public transportation, bus 100, and we've got to say, that's a great way to see a lot of the city. You just sit on the bus and take in all of the top main attractions, basically. And you can see it from the window. Based on my view on the bus, I could tell that this side of the city, for some reason, just seems a little bit more nicer. I guess maybe that there's a little bit more wealth here. I can just tell in the streets and the buildings, especially in the buildings, it looks like that. Right now we're making our way to the Bikini House. It's famous for that because of the architecture, and there's a pretty awesome church right across the street from it.
As you can notice by this obnoxiously large sign behind me, we made it to Kudamm next to the church. This entire area that we're visiting right now is a very busy shopping area. It's touristy. There's actually a little carnival going on right now with like children's rides, churros that Rissa almost got to, and a Capri Sun that's way overpriced that Willow wanted. So Next, we're making our way to Kadebe, which is continental Europe's largest department store, which will be interesting to compare because we were in Harrods when we were visiting London last year, and that was an absolutely massive place to see. Okay, do you want to sit over here by the window?
Look at this thing.
Is that fancy? Kadebe was a cool building to go up to. It was just really nice for us to sit up at the top of the building, have cake, Willa had ice cream and enjoyed the view. The entire building was quite crowded, but I've got to say the top level, I think it was level 7, was actually the least crowded. So I do think that experience is more of like a hidden gem per se, and not that many people know about it compared to how many tourists flock here. Really fun local suggestion that we got and would recommend it. From here we're gonna get on the U-Bahn and head back to our accommodation and just relax for the rest of the evening. But you can see it looks quite different, and there's even a sign with different concentration camps listed below, never to be forgotten here. So definitely a unique entrance for the U-Bahn. You're taking some shortcuts.
Where's Noah? There she is.
Hi!
I didn't see you there.
Hello! Hey, where's your smile? There it is.
We didn't want to pass up the opportunity to come here to Templehof Field. This used to be an active airfield during World War II, so it's pretty large. Like honestly, looking at the size of this thing on the map is huge, and just getting here it is even bigger. We're standing right here at the end of the runway. Tons of people are out just running around, biking, scootering, rollerblading. It's definitely a place for people to come and exercise and just be outside. And it's just a little bit of a strange feeling being here on an airfield that was used during World War II by the Nazis. And then to see it today just completely abandoned from all air traffic activity at all, but instead turned into a very large outdoor recreation area. Again, this part of Berlin is just reminding us how diverse the city is. There's like these different styles of apartments here, something we haven't seen in other parts of Berlin. So the city's absolutely huge, and it's fun to just see different corners of the city.
We're ending out this video here in Berlin doing something that a lot of locals do, and that is visit a flea market. There are a lot of different flea markets here in the city. Most of the time they are ran on Saturday and Sunday. It's Sunday here and it is very crowded. There's a lot of different things to see. We've seen it all, honestly. From like cat underwear to kids' toys to CDs, movies. It is just a fun time. We're leaving here very satisfied with our time here in Berlin. We had a wonderful time and we learned a lot. However, we wish we could do more. In fact, there's even a flea market in Mauer Park that's known for its karaoke and just having amazing food. That's one place we'd like to see, but there's just not enough time in the day. So some other honorable mentions are going to the Disgusting Food Museum. We've had some friends go and they've said that's a fun time. Also the History Museum, there's a ton of World War II memorial sites. Also there's a lot of lakes around here, so you can go and check that out. And last but not least, we would highly recommend the Gardens of the World. We didn't make it up there, but you can ride a cable car to it, and we've heard incredible things. So that's just some of them. We know there's even more than that, but if you end up coming to Berlin, we hope you have an amazing time. We've been to a lot of other cities here in Germany, namely Hamburg, Bonn, Cologne, and we've got to be honest, Berlin has probably had one of the biggest impacts on us, and it's definitely changed our perspective on Germany. Our honest impression here is that it seems a little rough around the edges. We're not gonna lie. You can see how the different cultures here have just blended together to make Berlin what it is. And we've really enjoyed seeing that diversity and getting to experience the real and raw Berlin. So thanks for being here with us as we've explored Berlin and learned along the way. If you like what you see, be sure and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our video. It means a lot to have you join our community. Stay tuned for our next videos because things are about to get super tasty. We've explored some of the best and most popular food here in the city.
Our sausage is covered under that delicious looking pile of sauce.
This is for sure the best currywurst I've ever had.
I have like peanut box.
Oh, another surprise.
It tastes kind of different a little bit.
That yellow sauce is the secret sauce.
These are actually called here in Berlin Pfannkuchen.
Our plan now is actually to meet up with some local Berliners, the people we're talking about.
People reserve, they queue, you have to reserve ahead because otherwise there's no way
You're not gonna
that you
get
just show up and get what you want. That's the typical Berlin soft drink. Boulette just means a small ball in like boulette in French. Then it became a standard in the Berlin kitchen.
We can't wait for you to watch it.